Right, so what is heathland? Because as I said, most of this place is dominated by heathland. Generally speaking in the UK, sun's right in my face. Generally speaking in the UK, if you leave natural spaces to their own devices, eventually they'll become forestry. It might take a few hundred years, but eventually that's what will happen. There are some exceptions to that. And one of those exceptions is what we call heathland. Heathland generally exists on fairly nutrient poor, often sandy, usually quite acidic soil. And whilst trees will clearly grow on it, they tend to not be able to grow and not be able to get enough nutrients out of the ground over a widespread area to grow thick canopy cover forestry. So you get something called heathland, and there's some key plants for heathland, heather being one of them. You get quite a lot of thistle on them, and you get this, and this is gorse, and this is one of my key indicators of what soil is like not just in heathland but anywhere. Gorse likes really acidic, really crappy soil, real poor quality soil. So this short, scrubby, spiky bush, which is often covered in yellow flowers, and I have seen a couple on them, they're often covered in yellow flowers, and it retains those flowers almost all year round. They can be seen with yellow flowers all over them, even in winter. That's a really good indicator that the ground underneath is not particularly high in nutrients, and it's quite acidic as well, which is exactly what the soil is here, generally speaking. It's and that's why we have heathland. Eventually, I mean, it could take several hundred, if not 1,000 years, if left to its own devices, it could potentially become forestry. But part of the other thing that limits it becoming forestry is that this type of land needs grazing. It actually responds really well to having large numbers of herbivorous animals grazing on it, and part of the management plan at Sutton Park is they have ponies on the land, they have cattle on the land, as well as the natural deer that are on here, to make sure that it doesn't go through the process of becoming forestry, because it's a really, really valuable habitat in its own right. But yeah, if you see gorse, if you see this plant anywhere covered in yellow flowers, roadsides, anywhere like that, it usually indicates that the soil it's on is not particularly good quality. So I thought I'd just stop here and point that out. Spin that camera around.
Ah yes, we have some gorse with yellow flowers on it.
And all of this that's around it, the purpley stuff.
And the heather.
That's heather.
So yeah, a couple with bright yellow flowers on,